And we are live on the Lonely Tardis, your journey through time, lords, and space. Join three lovely companions to get together each and every episode, definitely on time, to talk about the latest Doctor Who news and such and things. I'm one of those companions, Dolly Demofsky. Hello, I just said my name. Joining me, this dude right here, the one, the only Marcus Beer.
Buongiorno, ciao,
That is
tutti
him.
frutti.
That is him. And this gentleman down there, Sean Eucalyptus Norton. I just christened the Eucalyptus as your middle name for no reason. Hi, Sean.
Hi.
Oh, are we having a?
We're having a Sonic off.
No.
We're having a screw off.
Guess
Marcus,
what? Yours may have been bigger before, but mine's extendable.
what screw? First of all, lovely beards, gentlemen. I do not have any, but it's kind of clockwork style. Starts with me at 0 at midnight with no beard, and we have the 3 o'clock shadow right there with Marcus, and right down there, Sean has a 5 o'clock. Just a stunning array of beardage. I love that. And you got the gray stripe down the middle. That's
Yeah, they call me Great Chin.
Great.
They don't, but they could.
They could.
Where my Sonic screwdriver is. Now you got me wondering where my Sonic is. I have no idea.
Marcus, is that looks like a unique Sonic screwdriver? Can you tell me about it?
This was left to me by the 14th Doctor. It's his Sonic. It extends. It's got some sort of hooky type thing. I've been trying to draw rectangles so I could watch TV wherever I want. Not working, but yes, I was very, very blessed to get this for Christmas because that brings my set up to I think about 7 now.
Oh my goodness!
Yes, I'm very, very happy. I had a good Christmas swag wise, obviously.
Sure.
Zygons be Zygons.
Oh, look at that! Look at that!
I got that, and then I got this piece of art that's going to be hung up.
Ooh, I like it.
Just put it on your forehead. You just walk around with that.
Hello, I'm a Tardis.
Center it a little bit.
Tardis. Doctor on the outside, I am. So yes, that was. I had a great holiday season, great Christmas, great holiday season.
Nice.
My wife obviously did the awesome. Sean, I understand you had some rather nice schwagadoo for Christmas too. What do you have, my boy?
I do, yeah. I have the Tardis from Hallmark.
Ooh.
Which, if it was plugged in, it would light up and rotate and
go through time.
And the Tom Baker, the Tom Baker voice goes out.
Nice.
I got these Funko Pops.
Oh,
the ninth Doctor.
The excellent Doctor right there. My first Doctor.
Along with him is the War Doctor, who,
my
as
spirit animal.
All us tribute fans know, if Moffat had his way, that would have been at the show in the 50th. So
yeah,
that's neat. And we talked about the book last time. Marcus got me a
phenomenal book.
10 days.
That was my gift. Yeah.
Well, you didn't get a Christmas card this year. You got a book, so
yes, that's totally fine with me too.
Thank you for your cards. They were very lucky.
Yeah, it's been really nice. Really, really nice.
I got.
You get from Santa.
I did not get any Doctor Who related swag from Santa. I made it a point this year to tell people, do not get me geek swag because they'll always get me the wrong geek swag, or they'll get me something I already have. So I said, this year, keep it simple. Yes, keep it simple. Here's things that I might need are sweatpants, sweatshirt. If anything, I was very low key this year. And socks. I love socks. I was low key. Which is by the way, oh, look at that.
Ooh, this, which I haven't put up yet, but this is the Kurt Adler Doctor Who Christmas tree. It's going up next year.
Marcus is going to give us 15 inches of Tardis live on the show. We'll have to zoom in.
The decorations.
Yes. As I said, yes, I got the book was the main geek thing, but I did buy myself something, and it legitimately arrived on Sunday morning. I surprisingly Christmas Eve. I thought, well, I didn't order myself anything. What's everything I ordered already arrived for everyone. What else could it be? It was something that I ordered many moons ago, and that would be something neither of you gentlemen actually care about, but Doctor Who Magic the Gathering cards, the card sets. I got the
awesome.
secret. So Magic the Gathering under their sort of secret lair, not imprint, but their initiative teams with companies to make these limited sets and a lot of pop culture stuff. Obviously, you can get all the orcs and goblins and mountains and magic stuff that you want, knights and dragons, by teaming with other companies and other IP. You're able to get some really cool collaborations to kind of expand Magic's appeal. And I got 2 of the Doctor Who sets right here. I got the Weeping Angels set, which is they're both in the box, Weeping Angel and the Dalek Lands sets. So I got these, and I also bought the main kind of Doctor Who set that had a bunch of stuff. And then I guess apparently there is one more secret lair set for Doctor Who that is now available for pre-order, so I might pre-order that too. But nothing awesome. From people. I don't play amazing. Magic anymore. Well, I haven't played Magic since the 90s.
I'm glad you reminded me of that, because my friend dabbles in Magic, and he got me a birthday gift that I completely forgot about because we did all our recording in a month later. Is this cool?
That's the one I got.
Oh, look
the Commander deck. Yeah, that is neat. The just gorgeous artwork. It's beautiful. It really is stunning. Yeah, I love the art. They did a phenomenal job. That's the Commander deck, which means you can actually use this in other Magic Gathering sets that are like sort of non-official playthroughs type of thing. But I like it. Yeah, it's good. It's very cool. And like I said, gorgeous art. Highly collectible. I'm treat it as
a collector's item because I don't think I'm ever going to open it.
I'm never opening these things. I'm not opening these guys.
I don't play Magic, so it's like.
Yeah, I play Magic, but I'll play. I used to play religiously in the 90s, in the early 90s. I have all my Magic cards from back then, which are worth nothing, as trading cards from back then are typically.
So you're saying about 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Can you believe
30 years ago?
The 90s is 30 early 90s,
years ago.
30 years ago.
I played during the last Doctor Who hiatus.
Sean wasn't even born then.
Sean wasn't born. Sean doesn't even know the words Doctor and Who.
He was swimming. He was a swimmer at the time.
Yes, those are my gifts, your gifts. If you've had some cool gifts, tweet them, post them, YouTube them at us. Let us know what you got. Post it in the Facebook page, because this is live on le page de Facebook, and let us know what you got for the holidays in Doctor Who land, if you did. Speaking of the holidays and Doctor Who, it has been a long time since we had Doctor Who on Christmas. And somebody's watching me there.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I can see comments and stuff.
Good. And we had Doctor Who on Christmas this year with
2017, wasn't it?
Was it 2017? I think you might be right.
Capaldi's Goodbye.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Because 2018. Yes. Yeah. Shifted to New Year after that.
Chris Chibnall, the Zack Snyder of the Doctor Who universe.
He is that guy that we do not love. But we had the Church on Ruby Road, which is the 15th Doctor's first episode by themselves. I will say this. I find it interesting now. We do have 2 Doctors floating around. Officially have 2 Doctors floating around in Who world, right?
Maybe more.
Maybe more,
because he did. Russell T did say it's canon, and it applies retroactively. So before we get started on the Church of Ruby Road, I actually want to share something I read yesterday.
Sure. Yeah.
Bizarre little bit. So I think it's like the British Medical Journal releases some like fun, silly facts every year. And the years where the Doctor Who Christmas special is aired on Christmas Day, the number of deaths in the UK on Christmas Day have gone down.
Oh.
When they haven't aired one, or aired one later, the number of deaths go up. So Doctor Who has saved lives on Christmas.
And Chris Chibnall is a murderer. I love it. I love it.
Well, I just saw that yesterday, and I wanted to share it with you. I thought it was really quite funny.
Chris Chibnall is a murderer of hopes and dreams and good storylines, and now also people. So yeah. Speaking of which, Church on Ruby Road, they just released the overnights and did phenomenally. It was the third highest viewed show just in that evening, the overnight in the UK. It was behind live shows essentially. So it's the highest scripted show, beating out some pretty big hitters. So it was fantastic. It really was a true return to form for Doctor Who, and apparently did pretty well on Disney Plus. I haven't followed up on the final numbers, but the vibes were pretty good. Disney doesn't like to release those numbers, but I'm hearing good things. So Church on Ruby Road, starting Ncuti Gatwa and Millie Robinson, I believe her name is, as Ruby and the 14th Doctor or 15th Doctor. And the story takes place, basically, quick summary, the Doctor is following around Ruby as she's got a spate of bad luck. Comes to find out it's goblins that are behind all the coincidence, all the bad luck, because they want to eat babies that are born on that day. And Ruby is a foundling. She is a fostered child that's been living in a home, and one of the few, or one of the only, that's basically been adopted by the owner of the of this house, or of this family, I should say. And they by the end of the episode, we know what happens. Ruby joins the Doctor, and they decide to go off on merry adventures. And a Goblin King gets skewered, which I thought was a phenomenal way to do.
You skipped over the song.
Well, I was just about to get the initial thoughts by either of you, but if you want to get into the song, let's get into the song.
You should go first. You always let us go first. You should go first.
Okay, I try to be the kind host. I know. I really enjoyed this episode. Again, multiple viewings. I watched it first. I had some stuff. Obviously, holidays. My day was thrown out into craziness. Watched it yesterday morning. Rewatched it yesterday evening. Watch it again this morning. There is Ncuti's Doctor is fantastic. He comes out with confidence, which we haven't seen from a Doctor to have that much. Usually the Doctor's trying to figure something out, right? They're like, why is my face like this? What's going on here? Or another Doctor is, why am I a woman all of a sudden? What is my purpose? You have Matt Smith, who kind of went through this existential crisis as he was regenerated into. Ncuti Gatwa comes out as much like the 9th Doctor when we first see him, full of confidence, also wearing a leather jacket, full of confidence and joy and fun. Like, he had a dance scene in a club, which I thought was fantastic. Why the hell not? Why can't the Doctor just have a good time in a kilt?
Which I think is honoring his dual nationality, which is he is Rwandan Scottish.
Yes,
so I thought that was fantastic.
Fantastic. His accent, by the way, also fantastic in this episode. The way he's portrayed, and of course, a great musical number. But there's one scene that made me realize that this is the new Doctor Who, right? And that was, I really felt like this episode was geared towards, I hate to say rebooting Doctor Who, but it really kind of is a reboot of Doctor Who. But there's a scene where the Doctor, and I love this scene, that we don't fully get to understand who this Doctor is. If you're a first-time viewer, you're just seeing this dude in a kilt. And we know he's the Doctor, but we don't know what the Doctor actually is until he's chasing after Ruby and running towards the TARDIS, bumps into a police officer on the side. The police officer says, "Can I help you or something? You look like you're in a hurry." He says, he uses his sonic screwdriver, which we'll get into in a second. Says, "Oh, he realizes he has a ring in his pocket and says, 'Don't worry, she's going to say yes.'" And that little segment encapsulated not only who the Doctor is, but who this Doctor is, in that, again, confidence, showed American audiences, especially Disney audiences, of he can deduce things on the fly using his funky sonic screwdriver, using his wits, and doing a little time travel understanding. I think that was an awesome scene. And I actually read later on that scene was filmed after everything was done because Disney specifically requested a scene like that to introduce the Doctor. And after I watched it, I realized, oh shit, that helped. I think it really helped this plot of this little vignette of who this Doctor is. But I love that scene. I enjoyed the overall majority. Again, not my favorite episode. I think there was something really interesting with the previous episode with the toy maker. But fantastic kickoff to Shooty's era, I think. Just really fun and joyful and full of energy. And that's what I've wanted from the Doctor for a long time. And I think the Doctor right now, to me, needs to be someone who is, it's escapism. It's escapism. It's fun. I don't have to teach you things. I don't have to force things at you to get you to understand. It's like, all this stuff is happening. Just come along for the ride, man. And I think this Doctor is very much a come along for the ride. It's going to be fun. And then they hook us with the whole foundling aspect, which I thought, this is going somewhere. The Doctor is a foundling, which a great way, by the way, to tie in the Timeless Child, and then also to just whisk away everything that we didn't like about the Timeless Child. But I thought that was fantastic. And really nice way to start to link some things. And then we had Mrs. Flood at the end, who knows something, but we don't know what she knows. So overall, enjoyed this episode. That was my brief but too long personal summary.
That was a better summary than the summary.
Let's go to you, Sean. Let's go to you, Sean. What are your thoughts this time?
I liked it a lot. As my wife put it before we recorded tonight, we've liked 4 episodes of Who in a row, and I have no idea when the last time that was.
Right,
Capaldi, I guess. It's just fun again.
Yeah,
it's worth getting excited about. So far, it hasn't disappointed with any of the excitement, the build up, and to your point, and I think we'll talk about a couple different things as we each go back and forth. But to your point, this is a Doctor Who, as he had mentioned in his previous episode, has gone through therapy already. However timey-wimey it is, and he knows who he is, and he is just a heartfelt, full of swagger, kindness, confidence, dancing Doctor, right? And as long as I've been watching the show, I've never seen a regeneration like that.
Yeah.
So it was really refreshing, and you could tell that it is a subtle and not subtle way of with the 60th capping off those 60 years, those 60, see everything. Like, this is that fresh start. And it doesn't change anything that came before, but it is very clearly setting a new standard moving forward, without rebooting continuity and stuff. As he alluded to being an orphan and abandoned and stuff. And it was just great. We got a lot of multifaceted previews of the multifaceted, personality there. And yeah, there's a lot I could say, but I want Marcus to talk, and I want to start riffing off each other. So, but I liked it a lot.
Did you notice also how, I hate to bring up the trailer for the next time, but to kind of bounce off your point, they're calling the next season season 1.
Yes.
Which really does, put some weight behind the idea of them rebooting the Doctor again in a weird way. But anyway,
the series are done. The seasons have begun.
True. Oh, I like that. Marcus, your thoughts, my friend?
Hated it.
Next.
Yeah. I'm sorry, the Doctor doesn't fucking sing.
Oh, no.
Come on, he doesn't sing, he doesn't dance. Well, actually, he did dance once. The episode in called The Doctor Dances.
They call The Doctor Dances, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's got... I'm kidding. Of course I'm kidding. I wouldn't say I loved it. I would have said I very much enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Didn't love it because the story itself felt a little ponderous.
Yeah. Yeah. Basic story. Yeah.
Yeah. It did feel like a whole new Doctor for a whole new generation. That's certainly not. I mean, this is the first noticeable Doctor Who, I think, for me, where I don't recognize the land I used to live in, the one they show. And it's not a negative thing. I'm delighted with the multiculturalism that's come into the show, and the diversity. Obviously, this has made a lot of neckbeards and a lot of right-wing fuck knuckles, including GB News, the Daily Mail, the Tory Graph, and all these other wankers, to claim that Doctor Who was woke. And yet again, we will deliver the sermon from upon high. Doctor Who's been woke since the first day it was shown, you twats. Seriously. There's nothing wrong with being woke. Doctor Who is diverse. Doctor Who is all-encompassing. The beauty of Doctor Who is if you watch Doctor Who, you get Doctor Who, you love Doctor Who, you're going to be a better person, because I guarantee you Doctor Who will raise your child way better than 90% of the fucking adults on this planet. Not that I'm biased. Ncuti is... He's probably going to be the fittest and hottest Doctor of the lot. I mean, we saw him dancing in the club. We saw him just getting down. There was just pure joy. We've seen that clip of him dancing over and over. And yeah, the boy is muscular.
Yeah.
The Ncuti is muscular. I'm not sure how they, what their pronoun is, but yeah, just ripped.
Jacked. I like jacked. Jacked is good.
1,000 gigawatt smile that just beams out.
That's a great point.
The eyes, though, the eyes are old souls. The eyes are really, really old souls. And there was a couple of scenes, especially in the bedroom of the flat, just after they'd rescued the baby, where he was just centered on the camera. And the camera just loved him. I mean, it was just like, he was just standing there, but it was fucking hero pose. So yes, got a little, oh Lord. Yeah, I just thought it was a very enjoyable episode. I thought actually the song, the Goblin King song, was,
I thought it was great,
brilliant.
It's so fun.
And you know, yes, the Doctor and Ruby have great voices. I don't think it's something I'm going to need every week. It felt kind of Willy Wonka-esque, and what is the Doctor but an intergalactic two-hearted Willy Wonka, minus the chocolates. I thought that that scene that you talked about with regards to, you know, when he pops out of the head of the snowman and he talks to the police officer. So, random fact, that is obviously a street in Cardiff. And if, as you're looking down, there's a shot where you look right down, and the TARDIS is on the left-hand side. And if you look beyond that, that is a beautiful hotel. I think it's called the Post House, where Sean and I stayed last year. On a trip out there last summer. So, and it's right in front of the Millennium Stadium, which is the big rugby stadium in Cardiff. But yeah, I thought there was a lot going for it. I found it interesting that the Goblin King got pierced. And
yeah, you're right.
Did the Goblin King die? The Doctor doesn't kill, but he pulled that thing down. Did they dematerialize? We saw what happened was the Goblin King, once he got, you know, pierced as such, everything started to collapse around him. Was he the one who perhaps created all the other goblins? And it's like, you know, you take the Master Vampire out and everybody else is boom. Because they're not time travelers, they're time skippers. I do like how offended the Doctor was when they called the goblins.
Oh, it was great.
It was good.
Such a nice touch.
Yeah, that was, and then just the childlike delight on Ncuti's face when he was talking about the science of coincidence. It just made you believe, and I mean that's the thing. This is the tagline. They should lift that tagline from the X-Files for this season. I want to believe. I want to believe this Doctor. I mean, I have loved all the other Doctors, but this one just has a glow about him. You know?
We get one of our comments right now. We have, I hate the sonic remote. We'll get to that. But love Ncuti as the Doctor for sure.
He just radiates charisma. It is just oozing out of him. And
Marcus,
I know Mark.
Go ahead.
Well, no, you mentioned the singing. So I love the Goblin song is so ridiculous and over the top.
So
on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
On Christmas Day, they're singing about salting and eating babies. And then he shows up, and that was enough. But then he shows up and starts singing, and then she starts riffing with less confidence because he's a bajillion years old, and she's like, "What the hell is happening?" And they both nail it. And Val and I turned to each other on the couch, mouths just open. We were just like, "Holy shit!" You don't get that in Doctor Who. You don't get it in the Stone Cold Man. Even at his friendliest, you still had the scars and everything, but like even at Matt Smith's quirky friendliness, you're not getting him singing.
No,
it was so
Judy's talents are great.
I don't know how long has passed between the end of the giggle and the start of the Church on Ruby Road. I'm guessing it's a while, because this Doctor, as you said, is confident. He's grown. I mean, we saw him come out of the By Generation with his "What the hell is going on?"
Sure,
and he had a confidence. He was further down the line. The rehab was done out of order. I'm guessing this is the Doctor fully rehabbed.
Yes.
And this is the new Doctor. This is what's going to kick on and move. When he suffers a loss, when he loses his temper, when his soul gets crushed, it's going to be biblical. I mean, I have not seen a Doctor who's can scale the heights and the lows are going to be mental since Tennant's first run as 10 on the waters of Mars, where towards the end there, because I don't know if you remember when we were talking about that episode, I said I wish Tennant was going to have a season where he could explore this cocky the Doctor that was on the cusp of darkness. I wanted to see that, and we never got to see it because obviously the next two episodes and he was gone. So yeah, I thought it was great. Interesting thing about the viewership. I mean, obviously, the BBC figures were beaten by Strictly Come Dancing at number 2, which is Dancing with the Stars, British version, and the King's Christmas Speech.
Right, the King's Speech. Yeah.
Now, King's Christmas Speech. This is the first time Charles has done this as king.
No, as king.
Always going to be a big draw.
Yeah.
The numbers, it came in at just under 5 million, and the right wing press is seizing on this as, the second worst debut of all time, blah blah blah. Well, this is not the Doctor of 20 years ago. This is not the Doctor of 2005 through 2011. Streaming was not around. There was not more options. Everything has just diluted. For it to be the third watched show of the day before we get to all the reruns and BBC iPlayer and
online, and
we know that Disney
and
release the numbers. We know this show is in a good place. I will also say the quality of the show has risen exponentially. It feels bigger and grander, which we saw in the Blue Yonder, the Giggle, and the Star Beast. But this time it felt bigger yet smaller. It had this intimacy. By focusing so much of the action in the flat, it was there. There was 3 rooms. There was Granny Sunday, waiting for her cup of tea. Sherry Sunday. Russell T. Davies had he must have been on Molly when he wrote some of these names. But as a former foster parent, to see Ruby's home and to see the mum who took her in and the 32 other babies that mum had fostered. And then when Ruby was gone because they'd gone back and taken the baby, to see how much warmth had been pulled out. I mean, it's literally they pulled the plug on the heating element or something because it got cold, it got mean, it got desolate. And that was just an amazing. That was a really, just a really, really good spin on it. I will, going back to the song, love the song. I rewatched it actually before we came on. And I found one where the words were played across the top.
Oh, cool.
You gotta say, like Sean said, bit fucking scary, this Doctor, this episode. I mean, the Goblin King did not look good, as in not very nice, not Squidgy, not Starbeast, not the Meep. And the shots from inside his mouth, it felt like the Meg. And the baby's trundling towards him. That was pretty amazing. I thought the VFX on the goblins was great. Russell T loves to start off, a doctor flying through the air, attached to a ladder somewhere, whether it be David Tennant's first episode up in the sky, or where it be this one, again on the ladder. I love the gloves. I thought the gloves were great. There's a Christmas Etsy thing for next year. So yeah, like I said, it wasn't my favorite episode ever. It didn't hit the heights for me of the Giggle, but the Giggle had so much more in its ammunition. It had Tennant, it had Catherine Tate, it had Neil Patrick Harris, and that triumvirate played off each other so well throughout the episode. And then you threw in Ncuti, and it just elevated it to something almost like legendary, which is why that one is one of my favorite episodes of Doctor Who ever. And to follow that was always going to be tough. And to be fair, he scaled it down. And I am, I rewatched it, still got my toe tapping on the song. Got thoughts about Mrs. Flood.
Yeah.
Mrs. Flood is the pantomime villain. Wink, wink. And I knew there was something off with her when literally you saw her sitting on a day. She was literally channeling Bernie Sanders at the inauguration. Where she was there with her blanket on her chair, wrapped up from the cold with her thermos. She was watching the show.
What's interesting is that I feel like at the beginning of
waiting for it. I knew it. I knew you were going to say the Ronnie.
I've been campaigning for her to be back. I want to see the Ronnie back because there was just. So sorry, Dali. I know you've got things to say.
I was leading into this. Go ahead.
Obviously, your box of tricks. You look like you've lost a pound and found a shilling. Now that dates the character back to pre-1970 and decimalization in the UK, because we went from pounds, shillings, and pence before I was born to pounds and pence. So I'm wondering if it's not the Rani, if Russell T has been digging around in that old box again, and after bringing back the Celestial Toy Maker, who's he got this time from that period of time that he's pulled out? Now, the actress, Anita Dobson, haven't seen much of her in a while, but she was a character actress for the longest time. And then in the early 80s, she was one of the founding cast members on a BBC soap opera called EastEnders. She played Angie Watts, who ran the local pub. And she was in the show for probably best part of a decade before leaving. And she's also married to Queen guitarist Brian May. So that's a little bit of background on the celebrity that is Anita Dobson. Anita Dobson is not. She's not a character like a 2-minute cameo actress. She's got heft. She's got chops. She may not have done a huge amount of things recently, but given Russell T Davis's fascination with all things 70s and 80s, recently he did a show, a miniseries called Nolly about a actress called Noel Garden, who I think it's Gardner, who was an actress in another soap opera called Crossroads, who was unceremoniously fired, and Helena Bonham Carter played this character. So he loves delving into his history of TV. He said he loves TV. He's been watching it all his life, and he just loves the stories. So it may not be the Rani. Sean sent me a link from Reddit because we know how fucking reliable Reddit is. But no, I mean, it's probably a valid link. We're probably not getting the Rani.
Apparently, we don't know who owns the rights.
We don't
until
know
that gets sorted out. They might not even be able to use the Robbie.
Could be Leela.
Yeah.
Could be Romana.
I guess the original creator passed away. Who the hell knows what estate took over? And look, it's since we all started watching, it's always been every season. That's like the go-to reference.
Yeah.
I would love for it to finally be time.
The other thing I saw kicking around was somebody jumping on the fact that it's Flood and River Song.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and that I think is probably a way too on the nose after Amelia Pond, River Song, and now Mrs. Flood.
River, Song, River Flood. Yep. What's interesting to me is that at the beginning of the episode, she sort of is taken aback by seeing the TARDIS there. But by the end, she has flipped and seems to know a lot more than she had let on earlier in that 2 days.
I don't think she's.
It felt like
off. I think she is just. She may be pissed off, but she's pissed off that she's seen that fucking blue box.
Maybe that's what it is.
I mean, it may be that she's frustrated. Maybe the doctor did something, or she recognized it from the get-go. It's like, oh, bloody inconvenience. Who lives in blue? Because she's playing a part. And then the whole you never seen the TARDIS before, and then sitting there watching with her fucking deck chair in her seat and her earmuffs and her thermos. That character is going to be a part of this moving forward. I think we know she's coming back. So
yeah.
And I love this. This is what I've missed. I've missed the season-long mysteries that don't dominate, but give us something to talk about every week, and they're seeded throughout. Some episodes you get it, some episodes you don't. And then there's the payoff at the end of either this season or next.
It's the type of season-long mystery that's not the world-ending mystery that Chibnall tried to. Because with Chibnall, we always thought, okay, how is he going to rope this all together? In this case,
if he did it at all,
he did, guess what? He never did. In this case, it's like, I'm curious to see where this little sidebar goes.
And they'll probably go nowhere. Russell T.
They might go nowhere. That's totally fine in this case.
He's like, I've just thrown this character in because I know all you nerdy podcast types are going to spend a month talking about it.
Yep. And we will.
Well, we've also got the mysterious parentage, right?
Yeah,
the mysterious parentage. Watched the woman walking away.
Yeah.
Had a look on his face. We will for sure get that by the end of the season. I'm pretty confident.
So I did have one thing. When you walk away, you see her pants are a little bit higher. You can see, so obviously it's a woman. Dare it be 13? Could it be 13? There's a very strong rumor that she's going to appear because Russell T. Davies really loves her, and let's face it, she deserves a good fucking script. So yes, Mavity did appear again. I saw that obviously in the comments. That's one that's going to run. But Russell T. Davies brought back the soap opera aspect that was so good. The kitchen sink aspect, the Rose Tyler, the Tyler family dynamic that we all fell in love with when Christopher Eccleston first appeared in Rose. It was the family, and Russell T. Davies did it again with Martha and her family, perhaps slightly less success, and then obviously Donna and her family who have come back again. And it's that family; it keeps on coming back and coming back. And Chibnall tried to do it, but he couldn't pull it off, and he went instead for, like you said, Sean. World ending. Everything's a cataclysm. Everything's this. We're 2 minutes to midnight. We're 3:30 midnight. It's 2:45 a week next Tuesday. What's going on? The world is always ending. Whether it be big ass spiders or, fucking star children or whatever the hell it is. The Doctor's a weeping angel. Do you remember that one?
I didn't until you mentioned it.
Sorry, mate.
No, it's fine. It's okay.
But he just brought it in. He's brought it in. It's like a warm blanket again.
Yes. Yes. I want to share one thing first and get your thoughts on this. The
best sex toy ever.
Sonic remote.
Is that the Sonic shoehorn? Like you get that and you can't get your
It's the Sonic PC mouse. Is what
it's a
it's
flip
like.
phone.
Oh, I would use that as a mouse. It's a good looking mouse.
It's the old flip phone, mate. It's I think that's what they based it on, was actually a really old flip phone, because if you see it, you can see the actual fold that's that you can pop it over. But honestly,
is this the most dramatic recreation of a screwdriver?
Oh, it doesn't look like a screwdriver for one.
I mean, River Song had a sonic trowel at one point.
Tubular, but apparently the runes are.
I do like those Gallifreyan runes. Yeah.
No, they're Gallifreyan Rwandan.
Oh, cool.
And they actually Googled the runes on it. The Russell T Davies had them put a Rwandan proverb in Gallifreyan on there for shooting. I think it looks great. I think it looks very stylish. I mean, obviously, that means this one's retired, but I really don't mind. It'll be interesting to see again how they use it. If you notice, he didn't really use it for much.
No, he couldn't use it on the ropes. That's always
when it detected the diamond. It's almost as if this is perhaps like the Tardis. It's sentient.
Maybe. Yep.
I mean, we know, and then we go back to the 50th, and they say it's, it's the same hardware. It's just the outside has been updated over the years. It's the same firmware when they needed to, put the subroutine in there to figure out how to open the door that was unlocked in the Tower of London. I mean, this will be interesting to see if this perhaps has a little bit of the TARDIS in it, the TARDIS' soul or something.
Maybe, yeah.
It's fine. I think it's a little goofy, but it's okay. I mean, somebody said Star Trek. To me, my first thought was it's like what the Jetsons would have thought a phone looks like today.
Sure. So, I think what's nice that it opens up the possibilities for more styles of Sonics going forward. So,
more toys to sell.
More toys for us to buy.
I will buy that as soon as it's available. I know Marcus somehow probably already has it.
He has it. He's gone into the future, picked it up, had the doctor up. I will say a couple things that I liked, and this bounces off of this Sonic, is that so the doctor couldn't use the Sonic in the Goblin ship because the Goblin ship wasn't done with electronics; it was done with ropes and with.
You had to learn the language of rope. It was awesome.
Learn the language of rope.
So silly. I love it.
Cut this, pull this, but it also sort of worked in magic a little bit because goblins aren't aliens in this. Goblins are literally just these mystical creatures that are mythical creatures that are part of Earth's lore. Goblins, they've been around forever, and they're called goblins because they gobble babies. And that's legitimately the only reason that we were given for their existence. And I was kind of fine with that. Like we're going to see unicorns and ogres and trolls and that kind of stuff. And I'm like thinking, there's something kind of fun to take the doctor in that direction. It's the Wonkification, the Willy Wonkification of the doctor, and I think that's okay. Of this, for this character that brings has a little bit of magic using science with him, then he's bringing joy to so many people in different ways. And I think that's kind of a fun way to approach the doctor right now. The doctor in the past has always been this sort of secluded character that lived in the TARDIS and didn't like letting people into his world or their world or his or her world. But this doctor was very much social and chatty and dancing and having fun with people. And I thought there is magic here. Also Christmas, magic on Christmas, But there is magic here that I believe the doctor is they're trying to kind of not wedge in, but they're making a great explanation for, which is opening doorways in Tardis, in different opportunities.
Yeah. They set it up in Blue Yonder, in the Blue Yonder.
Yep.
Where he said, or Tennant said, he was at the edge of the universe. He wished he hadn't said about vampires and werewolves and so on and so forth, because when you're at the edge of the universe, where the veil is so thin, you can bring stuff in. And since then, obviously, we're still looking at Mavity. That was
canon. What a great joke.
And we've had goblins with their bimbling. Bimbling, that's a beautiful word.
Yeah.
Bimble. So yeah, I mean, this now opens the Doctor to a much more fantasy realm. As long as it doesn't stray too far from sci-fi,
right? Yeah.
But I mean, Marvel at their best has shown that magic and technology can live together.
Yeah.
Where we've
Doctor
seen Doctor
Strange,
Strange, and I mean, and obviously in Thor, that they do say that magic is what people who don't know the science, believe it to be.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I thought he weaved it well.
Yep.
Sorry, Marcus. I thought he did okay. I mean, they're their own species wherever they come from, planet Goblin or whatever. But he brought it back with sci-fi stuff. What are they, time riders or time surfers or something like that. So yeah, it was an interesting mix, and I'm curious what it'll be like going forward. But it was definitely an interesting mix to your point of fantasy and sci-fi. And he's still trying to ground it in sci-fi, but is very clearly having fun with the more fantastical elements too.
And considering Britain is a nation of turkey eaters at Christmas, gobbling is what everybody does. Gobble, gobble.
Gobble, gobble. Well, I'm going to be gobbling up
of
more.
Christmas, I'm not going to be commenting
more of Doctor Who when it's back in May, as we found out. It returns in May. Shooty's also noted that they've already, essentially by then he'll have finished, the team will have finished recording and finishing up season 2, which is great.
Yeah. Now, Russell T. Davies apparently went out and said one of the main reasons the show has struggled to maintain and grow viewership is the absurd lengths of time that it has gone from.
Yeah.
And it's funny because some of these new fans are complaining like, May is so far away. I'm just like, child, please. I remember when Capaldi had a Christmas episode and then nothing for a year, then another Christmas episode, and then the season started next summer or whatever it was. So
Tenet was the same way
every time. If we get this cadence where it's like Christmas, spring into summer, maybe there's a spin-off, Christmas, new season, like that's perfect. Like, and if we get guaranteed Who twice a year, every year,
not overdoing it. Yeah.
Do I wish it was 12 episods instead of 8? Sure, but I'll take what I can get.
Have they confirmed it's 8?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. But if it's this quality, if it's the quality of the 60th and the Christmas special, then fine.
Yep.
Fine.
We know it's expensive. The VFX budget's gone through the roof. I think they have 5 sound stages in Cardiff now. As well as all the outside locations and everything. So they are putting that money to good use. And it's the Doctor Who we've all ached for, I think, especially over the last 5 years.
The last 5 years.
And
it's prominently right up there on Disney Plus. It is right there next to Marvel What If, holiday classic movies, and
we now have there's a Doctor Who for us rabid old fans in Tenet. And there's a Doctor Who for the brand new viewers in Shutigawa. And I think there's some magic in magic. There is something awesome in that realization, in that being a thing, because you've rebooted Doctor Who in a way with Shuti and said, here's everything that's happened. We cut away. We managed to somehow fix the issues that Chibnall left us with quite literally 3 lines total in these last 4 episodes that Doctor Who referenced enough of things without going overboard to make it worthwhile. And I think that's a great start, a really great start to this era of Who. And I'm super excited, super stoked.
Yeah, and I guess to that point too, I am a very, very on the record avid hater of the whatever it was called, the Flux and the Forgotten. Timeless Child.
Flux, Timeless Child, yeah.
But if we have to have it now, and Russell T Davies has decided not to throw it out, then that's fine. It is really nice to get to see Shuti show such a range between the fun, the carefree, the singing, the crying. And then there was just a brief glimpse of him getting just a little dark, a little angry when he realized what was happening before he had to go back and fix it. Like you said, I just found out that I was adopted or I was abandoned and whatever, and I was just like, fine. Like it was acted well enough and a throwaway line well enough where it actually serves a better purpose now, which is connecting with Ruby and giving this Doctor a sort of new way to bond with his companion and to relate to this human situation, these foundlings and stuff. And also at the end of the episode where he was going to walk away, and well, she wants to come out. That's fine. I'm not going to go get her. Where he said, "Am I the bad luck?" I mean, that is so full circle. Gone through therapy, has accepted everything, but also still understands now, like the consequences that could, like it was 80% of his companions die or have some sort of fucked up fate. It was just nice. It was refreshing. He didn't go back in there and be like, "Hey, you want to come for a ride?" or "Hey, you want to hang out?" and just like she came to him and he was like, "All right, well, she came here, so let's let her ride." It was just nice. There were a lot of nice little subtle twists on things we have seen time and time again that made it felt fresh.
Yep.
I think one of the things we might see, because right now in the US, if you want to watch Doctor Who, you need BritBox, you need Max, and you need Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Given that Max is
spitting everything out,
content, I guarantee you they are offering a way, the BBC, a way out of their deal to remove Torchwood, Sarah Jane, and Doctor Who, all of New Who, and shuttle it over to BBC to
Disney Plus.
Disney Plus. And once you see that start to fill out, and there's a true Who hub on Disney Plus, especially they're going to absorb Hulu, and it's going to become this thing, this mega
cable.
Thing.
This cable.
I do think that Who fandom is going to explode as people work backwards and start to find out what's what. They will see Tennant. They'll probably start with Tennant, and then they'll go, "Oh, who came before Tennant?" and this and that. I mean, and yes, they'll take the rough with the smooth. They will see how uneven it was. They will see how dated it can be. And the Autons in that first episode, the dustbins.
Oh man!
But I think for Doctor Who to really be successful, I mean, everything's going really great. Budget, prime spot on Disney Plus, but there needs to be more content there. It would be great if Disney Plus started hosting the trailers, if they started hosting the behind the scenes. All that stuff is how you develop and create a fandom. And I love that Russell T Davies is becoming the Kevin Feige of Whodom. And we talked about this years ago when we wanted it, and we know that content is slowly going to be filling up. The sooner they have all that backstory available there, the better. Keep classic Who pre-2005.
Yeah.
Keep that on BritBox. It's $8.99 a month. All the stuff is on there, including Doctor Who confidentials, a lot of prep stuff that was from the 60th and the 50th and everything else. And if you don't have a BritBox subscription, give it a try. There's a wealth of stuff there. We're going to see the Celestial Toymaker story hit on BritBox, I think in February or March, with the animated sections that they've had to put in. So I would like to see HBO Max or Max move out of the equation so that we've got old and new together.
And I think they will when the rights fee is up.
Yeah. I think what's really kind of interesting as to note is that David Tennant was America's first Doctor Who on streaming with Netflix. And David Tennant was the return of sort of the reboot on Disney Plus. So Tennant was the sort of starting the linchpin for these two major motions in Whoverse. But we've got a lot coming. We've got a whole season starting in May. We've got whatever spin-offs that they're going to be working on. I'm sure there'll be plenty of news popping up between now and then.
Did we talk about Ruby? Do we like Ruby? Did I get your guys' thoughts on Ruby? First impressions?
I think she's fine. I like her. She has a little bit of obviously there's a big backstory there, but she has enough of a friendly, youthful attitude that's a little less snidey, I guess, than Rose was. Rose was very sort of Rose is prickly, right? And so she was definitely a little bit more intrinsic, a little bit more. Let me rephrase it. Ruby is a little bit more down to earth than Rose. I feel like Rose was.
Rose. I mean, Rose was a product of the time. Rose was a product of 2005 UK, where you had to be a little bit tougher. And I'm not saying
Ruby's
that
just going with the flow. Ruby's just going with the flow, which I like. Yeah,
I think she seems to be very balanced, very go with the flow. But it's also tough because she's up against this force of nature.
Yeah,
she's sharing a screen with a force of nature. She's not going to be Donna Noble.
No,
she's not going to be Rose. She's not going to be Amy Pond. Not for a while. It's going to take her 2 or 3 episodes. But I've got faith, given the most memorable characters have come, with the exception of Capaldi's last companion, Bill Potts. With the exception of Bill Potts,
Bill.
The Russell T Davies has written the best companions.
Well, all right then.
I mean, no offense to the companions who were during Chibnall's era, who are all very fine actors, but they had fuck all to go with, and Yaz was really fucking annoying by the end.
I think it'll take a few, like you mentioned, a couple episodes for me to really understand Ruby. I started mixing Rose and Ruby to understand Ruby and kind of figure out her character. So I'm not. I'm being optimistic because she's still.
Remember how annoying was Donna Noble that first time?
Oh my god! In the wedding episode, yeah.
So I mean, you know that Russell T Davies can write great companions, and he knows how to use them. So yeah, I've got faith. I think she moved the plot along. She got the connection. There's already a bond between them. They've got the spark.
Very good chemistry.
Okay, we're not quite equals, but I can hold my own. So no worries at all.
I agree. I actually I felt that she was confident, relatively cool under pressure. Again, I alluded to before, when she just starts dancing and scatting, it's just like singing. What I really liked too was she put it together on her own, who he kind of is. The time travel, the references to Houdini, and hating time travel, bad time travels are cool, whatever. Like, he didn't explain it to her. He wasn't like, I'm a Time Lord, I'm 1200 years old from the constellation Cerberus, whatever. She worked that all out, which I thought was great. And so I'm really optimistic. Like you guys all mentioned, that she's got the spark with him. They've got good chemistry. What I hope it's not, I think has been played out, is her being some sort of special being in the universe, right? Like, if the story around her mom and her being dropped off, sure. But I don't want another Impossible Girl. I don't want another Clara who's like intricately tied to his timeline and stuff like that. Like, let her just be another human.
Love interest.
And it would be good to take a break from the love interest.
I mean, that was one of the. I mean, if you look at the two best, it's Donna and Bill for me, who did not fall for the Doctor.
And Amy got over it real quick.
Their own. They don't need to be love interests.
Right. Amy got over it real quick.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope it's not a love interest, and I hope it's not, another Impossible Girl or Souffle Girl or whatever you want to call it. But other than that, I'm super excited. It's just so nice. I know I keep saying it. It's just so nice to be excited for Who again.
It is 5 months. 5 months, my boy. They did drop the trailer yesterday for, and we get to see a Bridgerton-esque episode. We get to see an episode where they're on Abbey Road, and we've seen, we've just seen all these other things. This might be the Doctor with the most costume changes ever, because while we've had the look and we've seen the look from this episode and the pictures, now we've seen about 20 different costume changes where he really is changing for each period. So I think that's going to be fun, and we can tell where some of that Disney Plus money went as well. And he seems to rock every look. I mean, he is stylish on a level that we haven't had since Skinny Boy in his suit, David Tennant is who again just summed up the period. And this new level of confidence from the Doctor, hitting the ground running. Oh, please don't let us down, Russell T and Ncuti, please.
And Disney, and the last thing I'll say, because I know we should wrap, is we've wondered a little bit, is it just Disney money? Do they have notes, whatever? Russell T Davies apparently in the behind the scenes confirmed that Disney does have notes. And, I think he has relatively free reign to throw out whatever he wants. But one of their notes when they tested the episode, I guess originally the doctor doesn't show up for like 20 minutes. And they were like, no, you got to have him way sooner, like way sooner.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay, great. That's actually a really good idea. So it's interesting that there's that kind of collaboration coming from the Mouse House and Russell T Davies. Now we know
that's the scene that Sally was talking about, and he did obviously reference that with regards to the note from Disney as well. And yeah, I thought it was great. They, just before that, where he pops out of the snowman's eye, and the lady with the pram, and he's like, "It's midnight. What are you doing out with the baby?" It's like, "Not a baby. It's my Christmas shopping." You're like, "Oh, okay." I know we are wrapping up, and I just want to say one more thing before Dali falls asleep. The accent.
I loved it. I loved it.
It's not a criticism, but it's not Scottish, it's not English, it's not Rwandan. It's definitely a interesting, and I just think it adds to the otherworldliness of him, where it's like, "You're not from around here, are you, mate?" No. So yeah, I think it's actually a huge plus that the way Ncuti has picked his accent. I'm sure Russell T Davies had his input as well. So I'm looking forward to getting to May of this year, and I'm going to try and stay away from spoilers and this, that, and the other. It's going to be really, really hard because we want the info, we want everything, and I think we need 50 weeks of Doctor Who a year.
Yeah, I agree.
We do. And nobody died.
Nobody died.
Which he went back and saved.
Died.
Except for the Goblin King.
Maybe. Who can say?
Oh, he got a church spire up his butt.
There you go.
But he went back and saved a side character. Like, it's not like in the old days where, like, you got to have the death to show this consequences. Not at Christmas, at least. Like, it was really cool.
Thing. So they left the apartment with that newborn baby and that bedridden grandma. That apartment is now freezing cold because half of it is
there's a giant crack in the roof.
There was no closure there.
Why do the streets of London close up automatically, but the crack in the ceiling is left to be like?
That is something that, I mean, and this is what we know Russell T does. He'll forget shit.
Yeah.
Maybe they ran out of budget to go. But yeah, leaving a newborn baby and the foster mother and her mother in a room, in an apartment that's ripped to shit and freezing cold at Christmas is a damning indictment on conservative government in the UK. I actually think
there you go.
Maybe they can apply for unit alien insurance.
Yeah, there you go.
Clean it up. The doctor just sends a text and unit takes care of it.
Yes.
Actually, yes, that would have been great if they'd actually mentioned that again. They didn't mention that. They mentioned it in Star Beast.
I hope we get a future episode. They go back to her apartment and it's just giant comical band-aids on the ceiling. Just like they don't fix the crack. It's just.
No, I mean, I'm hoping they go back and she's now living in a fucking mansion somewhere because of the unit insurance.
There you
running
go.
a home for foster kids.
Gentlemen, out of 5 goblins, what do you rate this episode? I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. Sean.
I'll give it a 4, but I'm pretty sure it's going to grow into a 5 on repeat viewings, and as time goes on, I think we're going to love it. I really do.
Marcus,
like I said, it wasn't the greatest, but it's better than a 4.
Yeah,
but it hasn't hit the heights of the giggle in particular. So I'm going to give it 4.25 goblins.
Oh my goodness! So 4 goblins and a goblin arm is what you're giving it. So that's
a couple of goblin teeth or a goblin king breast.
Well, then I'm going to give it a 4.5. So a goblin and half a goblin. The upper torso, the goblin head. Yeah, you carry it around like Mimir.
Gentlemen, thank you for sharing your goblin love with me and with our viewers and listeners on this wonderful Christmas special edition of the Doctor Who episode.
When will we be
back? One of those days. We'll have to figure out a day when we'll be back. We always talk about doing stuff, and I'm always busy, and Sean's always busy, and Marcus likes to not be busy. So that's good. Good for Marcus. Living.
You think it's through choice?
No. We'll figure something out. And whenever we can kind of get our schedules in
Maybe when they
in
release more
alignment.
tidbits, we'll go. Or we'll
It's
finally
either
get
that,
around.
or we're gonna have to do rewatches and reviews.
Yes.
Well, we've discussed doing it. Maybe we could review that book you got for Christmas, boys.
Yeah,
I'd love to.
I'd love to.
How about chapter 5? That's a good book.
Let me start reading it, and I'll be finished somewhere around 2027. Because I don't have time to do anything anymore. Until then, though, you can find us at lonelytardis.com, Lonely Tardis on YouTube and Facebook. Maybe I'll set up a Twitch account too for no reason whatsoever. A TikTok, a Tiki-Taki account. You can find us individually all over the place. Sean Norton, thank you very much, my friend, for joining us. Marcus Beer, thank you for sharing your wisdom.
Blwyddyn in there with that's Welsh for Happy New Year, my boys.
There you go. And I want to wish everybody also a Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. We'll see you on the next episode of The Lonely Tardis.
Baby blood and baby bones.
We really
baby
need
butter
to get a
for the
theme tune.
babies.